Shep Smith had a Republican congressman on, and Congresswoman is Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, and she's in favor of bombing Syria. Now, she says, don't worry, we're not going to do boots on the ground. And now Shep Smith started to go back and forth with her a little bit, and he said, you know, we don't have our allies in place. And she said, well, you know, some of the Arabs support us. He said, wait a minute now, the Arab League emphatically voted no on this. Yes, the Saudis agree with us, but the Arab League in its totality has voted no. He said, we basically have no allies with us. You know, you could, of course, make the exception of France. France seems to be backing us. But Britain voted no. So we're kind of going alone here. So Shep was clearly right on that count. Now they're going to go into the next round of quasi-debating here. Shep's trying to be as polite as he can be. But he does point out something fairly outrageous that she said.
We haven't even suggested that what we're doing might stop the slaughter. 100,000 plus people are dead over there.
And in fact, that is not the mission, and they've been careful to say that. The mission is not to stop the slaughter. What we're in fact saying is you can continue killing your own people. You just can't kill them with chemical gas. That is in essence what we're saying with this vote. But I think it's important
How do you feel about that message, Congressman Ros-Lehtinen? I mean, I've been watching your votes in your career for years and years, and that Ileana Ros-Lehtinen would go along with something that says you're good to keep murdering your own people, but not with chemical weapons. That just doesn't sound like you, Congresswoman.
Well, but here's the other choice that we have. Then you're talking about a John McCain style, less limited, more broad level of authority to go into to Syria to accomplish what? Regime change?
Yeah. Man, that's as polite as he could possibly be there. That outrageous statement you just made, I'm sure doesn't sound like you. Go ahead and try to change it. And she's like, no, not really. I don't like the other options. So they can go ahead and continue to kill people as they please. They just can't do it with chemical weapons. Now, you heard Shep's mumble there as she said it. Oh, God. Right? This is not a winning argument for the bombing side. And if you've been watching the Young Turks for a while about the Syria issue, there's so many complicating factors, and I don't think it's a black and white issue. And even the Congresswoman here is not totally wrong. Look, there's about 100 years of precedence on not using chemical weapons, and the international community could get together to say, hey, you know, we're going to enforce that precedent. Now, we're not going to get involved in your civil war. That's for you to settle. But if either side uses chemical weapons, then we would get involved for that limited purpose to stop that or to have that bombing serve as a deterrence. Now, in reality, we know the hypocrisy involved. We know we wouldn't do it if it was Russia or China because they're too large. We know we wouldn't do it if it was an ally or us using white phosphorus, right? And the reality is if it was the rebels, I'm positive we wouldn't bomb them. But, you know, she would make the case that it is an important precedent and it is an important deterrent to make sure that a state does not use chemical weapons and that we can help that in the best way that we can by doing this attack. But boy, it sounds ugly when you say, well, you can kill them in any other way you like. So I'm not sure that's a good precedent or message to send out there. And Shep certainly pounded her in the discussion/debate that they had there in terms of getting the upper hand on what it looked like. And he also made a good point that, look, you're stirring up a hornet's nest here. And once you start the bombings, you don't know where they end, which of course is a point I've always found compelling. All right, Shep, as usual, the lone reasonable voice on Fox News, and Fox News is all over the place being pro and against bombing, but here Shep's arguments were excellent.